And we're live.
We're live.
What's going on, everybody?
Cheers.
How y'all doing? You saw the title. In today's video, we're taking it back to the basics. And we're going to be giving you some tips and tricks for beginner riders if you're just getting into riding. And if you want to ride dirt bikes, learn from our mistakes. We're going to start out and...
Got a lot of them.
Yeah. Man, it's been a while since I would consider myself a beginner rider, but everybody's new to some things, you know? Yeah, but I didn't do the technical stuff that I'm doing now, so later in the video we might get into the more advanced stuff, but thankfully Alexis is still a beginner rider, so you know we can learn a lot from her and give you some valuable knowledge. What's up, little Gromlin, man? It's been a while. How you doing? Home Brick Brothers, what's up? Benjamin, how's everybody doing? We had a good day today.
We had a great weekend.
Yeah. First and foremost, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for...
None of us would be here without fathers.
Tyler goes, I entered my first enduro. Any tips from a pro like you?
Oh my god.
Thanks for the sarcasm, bud. I actually entered my first enduro, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm hoping to do a few more before that one, locally. Actually, next Saturday I might be doing one.
What?
Yeah. But honestly, I do have some tips for myself, is to take it easy. Just enjoy the experience. I'm a competitive person.
I was literally just saying, Tanner's a competitive person, so he'll be like...
I have to pace myself.
You do.
Or I will not last.
You'll get frustrated, and yeah.
I will get burnout. I will not pace myself. So in the back of my mind, that's just what I have to focus on is analyzing the obstacles and just enjoying the race. What's up, Zach? How you doing? We had a good ride with Zach.
Yeah, just us and Zach.
Yeah, us and Zach. It
was chill.
Oh yeah, it was a great ride, and we met a lot of awesome subscribers. How crazy is that?
And we did something that we've never done before with Zach because he was down and he is so cool.
Yeah, for sure. We went swimming.
To swim randomly.
In a creek. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I can't wait to do that every time at Wayne. That it's nice out.
It completely revived my energy and
we needed that.
Yes.
It was a rough morning.
It was a hot and rough morning. And mud.
Oh man. Had to pause one of your videos to watch this live.
Oh,
that's what's up,
sweet.
Austin. I like that. What's up? When in doubt, wrap it out. Congrats on the new Grom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I'm glad for you. Happy for you. If Amber catches you from a minute behind, it's okay to cry. Well, that will probably happen. And I'll have the camera going, so I'll try not to shed any tears. But no hard feelings, man. I'm just there to have fun, and it'll be cool to see you guys. So
I'll be on the sidelines cheering.
Yeah, she thinks she's going to go, so that'd be cool. Have you ever went to a motocross track? Actually...
Except at the fair.
I've been to a few small tracks, but I've never been to a legitimate motocross track. And I would like to someday. You know, it's good to try everything and every aspect of riding, so good question.
What's up, Gromatron?
What's up,
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
×9.
I beat you to it. But yeah, eat Grom life.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into this. Alexis, when did you just start riding?
I started riding probably in 2016.
How much experience did you have before that? How much?
Zero.
Experience? Zero.
Well, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I had three-wheeler experience. And that's about it.
Doesn't transfer over that much.
It doesn't.
You had basic handlebar controls and stuff like that, but
so other than that, I'd say zero.
But those, you didn't have to use the clutch.
Right.
So the first bike that you learned on had a clutch.
Was a 110L.
And how long did it take you to get a hold of the clutch?
One day.
An afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very easy to learn the clutch, and another big thing is start on the right bike. A lot of people get a bike that's not for the right job, and that's the biggest thing. Like, we started small. We started out on the KLX 110s, and there was the L version, which had the clutch, and those were perfect. Don't you agree?
100%. And that is one thing that, I feel like some people have argued, but, I think people should start out on dirt.
Yep, I agree.
I 100% feel so much more confident starting out on dirt than if I started out on street.
Number one, it's safer in the dirt.
100%.
Number two, there's more obstacles in the dirt, so you can transfer all that knowledge to the street, and you get so much more maneuverability training off-road than you do on the street.
The street, the biggest thing, I feel like the biggest danger is other people, and there's nothing you can do about that.
There is.
Yes.
With the right maneuverability training.
Right.
So.
But with dirt, there's so many other obstacles, and yourself can be a harm that if you have all those, then you've mastered what
Oh yeah.
the essence of riding.
And at the end of the day, it's safer.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no other motorists for the most
Right.
part, and it's all good.
Let's see. I did not dye my hair. I
No.
don't know does it look darker?
Dirt's way softer than asphalt. Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. 110, 230, KX 500 in that order.
Nice.
No, so what was your order? So you went from the 110
To a Grom.
To a Grom. Good step up.
Yep. To the 230.
To the 230. Tyler's right. To the 230. And what did you feel about the 230? Because that was the biggest size bike that you've had. And that whole bike was it never really got its place.
No.
We never set it up for dirt. We had some fun dual sport trips on that, but
Yeah.
ultimately it just didn't work out. So what followed the 230?
My 150 RB.
The 150 RB. So that was her first, we'll call it full-size dirt bike for her. I mean, she comes in at 5 foot even, so put that into perspective. I mean, what age range is that, like, the average for kids, you know? I feel like
5 foot even.
yeah,
Middle school.
yeah, like 10, like kids that are 10 years old. I mean, it's true.
Yeah. I mean, my
So-
nieces and nephews are all taller than me, so.
Yeah. So for you, that is a full-size bike. We are going to upgrade her in the future. Like, she will be on 1821 for sure. But for now, those are full-size bikes for her. And was the step up that much different than the 110?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that one,
Yeah.
150 RB?
I mean, just for you, like, how did it feel going from the 110 and the
Oh,
dirt
100%.
to, was it just intimidating to go to the bigger bike?
Yeah. And the power.
And the power delivery was a lot
power
different.
is, crazy different.
Right. So, also, when you're going to get into riding, and we're primarily focused on dirt bikes here, get a bike for the job. And that's my next subject is, unfortunately, they do not make a lot of performance-oriented trail bikes in smaller sizes. Like, they have all the MX bikes, the KX65s, the KX85. That's funny. The KX100s, the CRF 150 RBs, they're all race bikes. They have the F line from Honda and a few other companies, but the Fs are just down on power. They're fantastic machines. Don't get me wrong, but
For like casual trail riding, they're great.
yeah.
But
like,
for some of the like technical, hardcore stuff, I feel like they're kind of you could do it.
you could,
100%.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna
but
say.
power's on your side when you're
I can
not.
take one of those bikes and go do pretty much everything we're doing at Wayne, no problem.
But I probably would not be able to.
Well, no, but that's because you've been riding for
Oh well, yes.
3 years.
Yeah.
And I myself personally, I've been riding since the age of 3, and so I have the basic motor skills. I didn't start seriously riding off-road since the past 2 years. Before that, I would just ride farm fields, and we did a few trips here and there, but other than that, it's just riding in wide open fields and not a lot of technical stuff. So now that we're getting into the technical enduro riding now, and I know a lot of the videos is some wide open stuff too, at like Wayne National Forest and stuff like that. But I love the hill climbs. I love the rocks. I love all that stuff. It's a challenge.
I think a big difference also between the 110 and the 150 RB. I remember I didn't understand this like back then, but like the wheel size and how like I was like at the time I was like if I could just ride the 110 forever, I'd be comfortable. Like it's fine, it's enough for me. But then like being on a bigger bike and realizing that how the wheel size makes things more comfortable and easier to get over, and it made a big difference. Like I felt more stable on a bigger bike than I did on a smaller bike for that reason.
Fantastic point. As soon as you can make the jump to get on something bigger that you're comfortable, do it. Because you're holding yourself back with the smaller wheels.
Yeah.
Even right now, she's holding herself back with the smaller wheels, but she has to get comfortable and get experience with that size before we move her up. So, bikes. Let's talk about bikes. So, if you're getting into riding, and let's say what's the average like height of somebody getting into riding? Like 5'10", 5'6" for girls, 5'6" for girls, like around 5'10" for guys.
Average height, I don't know. I would think
Below
middle
that?
school.
Yeah. I'm talking just like height in general.
Height in general.
Average height.
Average height.
Guys getting to riding.
For girls, I'd say like 5'6".
So let's start out with girls. So for girls getting into riding, and shout out to Laura. We actually
She's right there.
Yeah, we picked her up a bike, so
Yeah.
that'll be really cool to see and document on the channel. But
Yay!
bikes that I would recommend is I don't want to focus on brands, but Honda has a really good trail lineup. They have all size ranges and stuff like that. So all of the F models coming from the 100 to the 150F, which is what we got her, those are perfect starter bikes. I mean, it's something that, nowadays has electric start, so that can be really enjoyable for new riders that are learning the clutch because you don't have to kick it every time that you stall it. Today, Laura was trying to ride the 150RB. That is a tricky one. I mean, it's a full-on race bike. It's aggressive. The clutch pull is hard. Like, it's rough for someone learning on that. So she was a lot more motivated, and it was more fun for her to get on the 150F, which encourages you to ride more.
Yeah.
So if you start off with the wrong machine, it can completely ruin your riding experience if you're on the wrong bike for the task.
However, I can say, like, being able to ride the 150RB, like, was a confidence booster for me.
Absolutely.
That, like, I was able to kick it over, and I didn't get frustrated, and, like...
Yep.
I love kicking that bike because I know how to start it, and I think that's just...
Yeah.
It depends on where you're at in your riding
experience.
Because, but I agree 100%. It's not a good beginner bike.
With a little more experience, Laura could kick that bike.
100%.
It's just like watching you over the years. Now you just have the technique down. You kick, you learn. But for a beginner, it's better to start off with something that's easier to ride. Mm-hmm. And then work your way up. Mm-hmm. So all of the entry-level Honda trail bikes, that's what I recommend pretty much anyone to start with. It's something you can grow into. You can have forever. Like even me, I love riding that 150F. So it's a perfect bike, perfect size. I'm trying to think of other bikes in that range. I mean, I started on two-strokes. Like my first was a PW50, which was automatic. Went to an LEM50, and then I started with the KX65, which was a lot of boys start out on that. I would say girls as well. I've seen girls on that, but a lot of kids in general start off on the two strokes, the smaller two strokes, which is good too. I recommend that as well. But nowadays, I don't know. It's the trail bikes are meant for the trail, and the race bikes come with their own set of problems. So it's nice to have the button. It really is. The electric start is a game changer. Not too much of that was around when I was a kid, so I still recommend the two strokes for starting out. A lot of kids do it. It's very good to learn. Like if you're motivated to ride and you could get that skill of kickstarting, working the clutch, all that stuff, and that'll really help you out as a rider. So all of the 65 cc's if you're younger, up to the 85 to the 100. So you can just keep working your way up through the ranks and eventually get you on something good. But let's get down on these comments. I know we've got a lot of comments in here. Let's see. Let's start. Electric start makes a huge difference. I went from the 150RB to the 250F, and there isn't a huge power difference, but the 250 is faster and bigger and more capable because of the wheel size. Not 411, I guess. Yeah, a little Gromlin, man, but you and Alexis are spot on, so anything that it's Alexis is doing, you could know. Motocross tracks are good for learning new skills and practice. Absolutely. It's a controlled environment, so that's good. Any tips on learning how to wheelie? So I've had a lot of comments on that. A wheelie is a skill that everybody needs to learn at some point because it helps you on the trails, and that's something that you need to work on. Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I can get the hang of it, going over like a small log.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I definitely witnessed that the other day. But the biggest tips with the wheelie is just the clutch control. Once you have the clutch control down, you can do pretty much anything. The clutch and the brake. With the wheelies, you have to control the brake.
And that's what I don't have down. So that's why I don't do it as often as I could or should, because I don't have that brake control down, and I don't really want to.
Everything that you do riding can help in other ways. Like my clutch control with wheelies helps me on the trails because I have the clutch control to feather the clutch up hills, and I have that muscle memory of using the clutch. That's why shout out to Alex. He did amazing.
God. Yeah, first time.
Did amazing because he has that skill, the wheelie skill, which is the clutch control and all that. So I encourage people to learn how to wheelie. It'll help out a lot. And the biggest thing is just popping the clutch, getting that front wheel up, getting comfortable, bringing it up a little bit, and then keep bringing it up higher. But you have to cover that rear brake and have that foot brake muscle memory to hit that rear brake and bring that front end down. I always cringe, man, when I see people and I know they don't know how to use the rear brake because it's a learned thing.
No, we've seen it so many times.
You can think about it all you want, like, oh yeah, cover the rear brake, but your muscle memory.
You could have
is
your
not
foot
there.
on the rear brake, and if you still might not push it because you're not comfortable with it.
9 times out of 10, the natural reaction is to either let go or freeze.
Yeah.
And if you freeze, you get hurt. Most of the time, you let go in the dirt. You're way better off than freezing. But I froze like before. And you just ride that thing, bust your back up, and it's not a good time. So it's definitely a learned skill and just stuff you have to practice and start small and repetition. Anything in life is just repetition. More times you do it, the better you get at it. It's kind of funny and weird. My dog was in it and driving me nuts.
He did a ground reveal.
Ground reveal. I got to watch that. Hey guys, hope all is well. Back to work after the holidays. Gonna go for a ride tonight and try out the new helmet.
Nice.
Congrats on the new bike.
Thank you.
I went from a CRF 150RB to an FE 350, and he loves it. As soon as he made that jump to the bigger bike, confidence boost, more capable. That's a good example right there. A little Gromlin. I started on a Chinese 90cc and ran that thing for 10 years.
Wow, 10 years
Pretty
is a
sure
long time.
a whole year or two without oil in it.
Oh!
Don't disregard the Chinese brands. Great point.
Oh, yeah.
Great point,
especially
little Gromlin.
for kids.
Kids that are starting out, especially for people that don't have a lot of money. Like, that's a perfect option.
With kids, like, you go through bikes quickly. So it's like, why spend a whole bunch of money on a brand new bike if the next year they're going to outgrow it? I mean, it's like with clothes or anything as a kid. Like, you just...
Like, for me, though, like, I buy and sell stuff, so...
That's different.
I could probably make money 90% of the time, so it's just different for me. But if you're going to buy stuff new, then you might want to go China, And, as your kid grows, just keep getting him China bikes until he's a size that you can have something for a while. Have something for a few years. Yeah, scroll through these.
We talked about that.
We'll get to the more advanced stuff here in a second, but we wanted to start off with the bare bones. And
it's always nicer and safer to be able to outride your bike versus your bike outriding you.
Exactly. So the more comfortable you can get in a certain size range before you move up, the better you'll be off. Because if you're starting on something big with no experience, you're going to have a bad time. Not saying it can't be done. You can learn on anything. Trust me.
150R is powerful enough for any casual rider under 5'5".
Agreed. When I got my first bike, I was scared about the clutch, but now I love it. Good to hear, Ryan. Is Electron going on your or Lex's bike anytime soon? So we'll talk about that. KDX Riders. So we had some issues on the last trail ride, and if anybody with knowledge wants to chime in here, please. But as always, we crash when we're on a trail ride, so Alexis laid it down a few times. She actually had probably one of her worst crashes.
I probably did.
And she flipped over the handlebars. Stay tuned for the video. Do you want to explain it or me?
You can explain what your point of view was, and I can explain what my point of view was.
My point of view was...
We were on harder trails, give it that. But then we usually do. I usually do.
Zach screwed us over. He took us on some gnarly trails.
Muddy.
It was just side by side. It wasn't gnarly. It was just rutted up in mud. But she was coming down this descent, and she just grabbed too much front brake and went over the handlebars. She froze. There's nothing else to analyze.
Yeah. Okay. Then we can leave it at that. That's fine.
I mean, I know she was in a spot where she couldn't touch, but...
So I would have had my front brake, and I would have been okay, but then I realized I couldn't touch, and I started tipping, and I grabbed more front brake than I was, like, slowly rolling.
Made a mistake.
And then I started to lean, and so I grabbed my front brake and I went forward.
Everybody makes mistakes. It's all right to admit it. Like,
I got a nice bruise on my hand.
She just grabbed too much front brake when she should have released and then gained control and then braked again. So that's a good one. Staying in control in descents. So it's always
descents are hard.
The best to go. And we're talking about downhill for those that can't understand us. Going downhill. You do not want to get out of control. I would rather go up hills than down hills. Like, going down gnarly hills is scarier to me than going up hills because you can get out of control really fast and you can have a real messed up day. The biggest thing for me is as soon as you get comfortable standing, that's going to be my next thing to talk about is standing. But as soon as you get comfortable standing, you have to stand on the downhill. You have way more control. You stand up, lock your legs, lean back, keep that back end down, and then it's mostly front brake. You're going to start dragging your rear brake. You have to learn to modulate that.
I didn't really understand that, like, in the past. Like, you just think, like, street. You grab both to avoid, like, sliding out. Not like that in the dirt, like, depending on the terrain and everything, especially going downhill. Like, but you don't want to grab too much front brake because then you do what I did. So, there is definitely a balance, but I full-heartedly, I take downhills too slow to the point that it causes me to crash.
Yeah, there's a balance with anything.
Yeah.
And on the street, you have so much more grip. So on the dirt, descents, you have to modulate that rear brake, feather it. Don't give full pressure or you're just going to lock it up. So once you have that feeling down, to feather that rear brake, not lock it up, and realize it's mostly in your front brake, which you can't overdo. If you overdo it, you'll either go over the top or your front tire will wash out. So it's all a balance with that. And yeah, the biggest thing is standing up. So that'll lead us into our next topic. If you want to go through some of these comments.
So, this one's a good one.
I'm good about covering the rear brake, but I can't stop hitting it before I get to the balance point. It's like a mental thing. Would it be easier to learn to wheelie on a smaller bike? I absolutely think it'll be easier to learn, but don't let it discourage you. It definitely is a mental thing. It's all a mental thing. You're telling your body to do something, and you're basically having a mental block. And you just have to bring it up a little bit higher. If you already have that brake control, just stay focused, stay calm, bring it back. Bring it back further than balance point and still tap that brake. Don't slam it, but just tap that brake, man. Just keep practicing. You'll get it. You have to push the envelope. It's like with doing anything, like learning how to backflip, anything like that. You just have to commit and just work your way up to things. Keep practicing.
Zach said he's sorry for that.
Oh, don't be sorry. It was a good time, good experience.
Good learning experience.
You didn't know, so
no. We
had a good time. I'm not complaining at all. I find standing hard being a taller rider. Boom. Let's go on to the standing. Standing. So standing for me is something that I'm now completely adamant about. Just like I said, I grew up playing around, so I didn't practice standing a whole lot. Just this past couple years is when I've been standing. I agree. As a taller rider, it is not comfortable a lot of the times to stand. Thankfully, I'm on a bike now that is way more comfortable to stand on.
Yeah, I just said to him last night, I never saw him stand on the 250L when I was with them, and I see you stand all the time.
The 250L is a small bike for me, so I was always hunched over in a very uncomfortable position, and I just didn't feel stable. Also, I've learned that, you just have to battle through that sense of instability, and then you will learn. You will get the muscle memory down, and you will become comfortable on whatever you're on. So thankfully on the KTM now, I can stand up just fine, and I stand up over 90% of the time. It's a game changer. So standing up and riding, for those of you that don't know, it just gives you so much more stability. You want to stand with the balls of your feet on the pegs. A lot of people, you yourself included, get kind of caught up in worrying about where your feet are on the brake, covering the rear brake and the shifter. No, for the most part, your feet are going to be on the balls of your feet are going to be on the pegs. And, when you want to downshift or upshift, just move your foot, and it all becomes in a fraction of a second. You can make these adjustments. And when you're going down a descent, then you can cover the rear brake if you want to. And, you should cover the rear brake, and then you can modulate it that way. But for the most part, the balls of your feet on the pegs. You can even angle your toes in towards the bike to help your knees lock in, around the tank, around the middle section of the bike.
That's what I struggle with.
What?
I find when I stand, I find myself realizing that I'm not hugging my bike at all with my legs.
Well,
and that's why I feel unstable standing.
Well, there's a lot of times where you don't want to hug because you want your bike to be able to move underneath you.
I get
When
that.
you're in a rocky section, that's the biggest thing, is letting the bike float between your legs. So you don't want to be gripping, or then you're going to get unstable.
Right.
So it's all just a balance. What's up, Tilly? No brakes neutral on downhill is best advice. Not in today's video. We're giving some serious advice here. But yeah, standing up is crucial. It's critical. You pretty much want to stand up 90% of the time. And the times that I sit down, and when you're supposed to sit down for the most part, is, in flat sections, go ahead and sit down. Give yourself a break. Uphill climbs, you need some traction in the rear. On hill climbs, it's tricky because you'll have technical sections on a hill climb where you need to stand up and get yourself over an obstacle because, you have to use the suspension in your knees to help you get over those obstacles. Then you want to sit back down again and get some traction. So most hill climbs, sit down a lot to get that traction and feather that clutch. And we'll talk about clutch here in a bit. But standing up is crucial. I'm on her all the time. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. And she's finally getting better. She's getting comfortable standing up. And yeah, another thing is the bike. For her, thankfully, she doesn't have that issue. She's perfect size for both bikes. For the taller guys, I understand you can get handlebar risers. I don't recommend it. I don't like changing the ergonomics of a bike too much, especially if you plan on progressing and eventually doing competition. It just changes the ergonomics of the bike in my opinion, and I don't recommend it because you can absolutely learn to ride comfortably and or get different style handlebars, different bends, stuff like that. And I'm going to get caught up with some comments. I hate when going up a hill and you accidentally hit neutral and it just turns out bad. Happened to me plenty of times. Happens to everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
You just got to learn
your
bike.
Go watch that one video where I kept saying I hit neutral like after trying it 3 times in a row. There's one. Would you ever do a meet and greet ride?
Absolutely. We plan on doing that soon, most likely at Wayne National Forest, so stay tuned for that.
Do you ever go downhill and pull the clutch in? I feel like it makes you go faster downhill without giving it throttle.
Okay, 4-stroke versus 2-stroke. So 2-strokes have come a long way. Now in modern enduro, that's pretty much all you see. Is because the 2-strokes now, the way they're designed, they have way more bottom end than the 4-strokes. And it's weird. It really is weird, but it's true. And the luggability of the 2-strokes is a lot different. You can tractor those things down low, and they're not prone to stalling like the 4-strokes. 4-strokes are still good bikes. This is not a 4-stroke hating channel. I'm just saying that there's a reason why you only see 300, 2-strokes in enduro competitions. But the bottom end is ridiculous. If you haven't ridden one, you have to experience it. Other 2-strokes, like growing up, what I had, the 125s, 85s, you have to be on the pipe. So you have to be higher in the rev range. And 2-strokes do not have engine braking. Some of the bigger CC ones have a little bit, but for the most part, you don't want to engine brake a 2-stroke anyways. It's not good for them. So when you're pulling in the clutch on a 2-stroke downhill, you don't have any engine braking. So just like you said, you get flying. I actually love that feeling personally. It feels like I'm on a mountain bike. I turn my bike off a lot now that I have that special button there that I can start mine with.
Jealous.
But I can turn my bike off and just coast, and that's what you want to do with the 2-strokes. Pull the clutch in, use the brakes. So you're going to go through pads more, but that's the nature of the 2-stroke. And the 4-stroke, you have engine braking. You have that good going downhill. You can use that engine brake to your advantage. So that's another difference with the 2-stroke versus the 4-stroke.
Chili said, I'm fat and old and get lazy, but standing up is the best bike control you can have.
Yeah, exactly. Not everybody wants to do it, but standing up is a must. And once you get better at it, I get less fatigued standing. Like, I don't have the best knees, but once you get it down and once you understand, like, standing up will save so much energy because it's just, in your lower half rather than going through your whole body, your back, and just beating up. You're beating up yourself most of the time sitting down.
When Alexis went slow up the hill and messed you up, Tanner, what happened? Was I in too high of a gear? I was. And my recluse clutch kept me going. But I was in too high of a gear. And so basically I would have stalled, but I didn't. But at that point I was literally just going so slow, tractoring up, that it made him stall because he was then going too slow.
Yeah, the recluse clutch, man, it feathers the clutch for you. And we'll talk about feathering the clutch really quick. So on the 2-strokes especially, 4-strokes included, when you're going up hills and the front end comes up, you have to pull in the clutch a little bit to let the front end come down and then dump the clutch again to get more power to the rear. And basically that clutch control is what allows you to do everything. Go over obstacles, pull the clutch in real quick, give it some gas, pop the front tire up, get over a log. Before you hit a jump, pull in the clutch, blip the throttle, give yourself a boost to go over the jump. And the hill climbs is the biggest thing, and with the 2-strokes, feathering that clutch to stay in the power. That's another thing. Like going up hills, you have to stay in the power so you can use the clutch to your advantage by pulling in the clutch, revving it up, and then it starts spinning the motor up and getting back into that power band. And for Alexis, the recluse does that for her. And once again, I don't want her to rely on that. I don't know how long the recluse is going to be in that bike. But for now, as long as she's still using the clutch, it needs adjusted. It fell out of adjustment on the last trip, so even when you have it pulled in, it's kind of lurching. So we got to get that figured out. But the recluse is good. Do I recommend the recluse to beginner riders? Absolutely not. You have to learn the basics of the clutch, or else you're just gonna rob yourself of valuable knowledge of bikes in the future.
And you'll be very limited because then you go to hop on a new bike and you won't be able to ride it.
Yeah. What exactly is engine braking? So engine braking is using the RPMs while you're in a lower gear to, go down a hill and to slow yourself down. So It's good on the 4 strokes, like I said, but on the 2 strokes, it's non-existent. Grammatron, you're doing great. Yeah, absolutely. It needs to get out more.
What are your thoughts on the bars you can install on your bike that go behind your legs to help with standing fatigue? I've never seen those.
I've never seen that. I don't know if you're trolling me or not, but that must be something new. I don't know. I can't answer.
I know.
I struggle with going down hills with confidence. Yeah, downhills are sketchy. I agree. You just have to stay in control and go as slow as possible most of the time. But
I think with downhills, there's a lot of like maneuvering your bike when your back tire slides.
Yeah.
Like if you're going sideways, you have to shift your weight completely in the opposite direction to swing your bike like counterbalance. It's just like if you were like in a car with a steering wheel and you're like doing donuts or something or sliding on ice. Like that's just like what I can contributed to. Also
feathering that rear brake so you don't end up sideways.
Right.
That's the biggest thing, is preventing that. Thoughts on an XT250 for a beginner enduro, or not enduro, but beginner dual sport? Good bikes. My dad had one, used it to commute on the freeway. Didn't like it so much because it wasn't meant for that. But for some light trail use and some farm use, fire roads, I recommend it. It's a good bike.
So, Alexis, is there a time you forgot that you had that clutch, or is it always on my mind? So I literally always pull my clutch in. Like, I don't think there has been a single time riding that bike that I don't pull my clutch in. But I know that it's there because it has saved me plenty of times when I've been in too high of a gear going up a hill. So I'm cautious. I know, like, every time afterwards, I'm like, that just saved me. Like, I should have been in a lower gear, but I use it just like a normal clutch. Cody Joseph.
What's up, Cody?
He said
Steg pegs.
They're called steg pegs.
We'll look it up right now. I'm curious.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say about drop? Okay, yeah. So we got on a different tangent right now. So Alexis had crashed her bike a few times. You know, happens. But the bike, man, every time she crashed it, it would get flooded really bad. And we'd have to kick it 10, 20 times to get it to start because it was flooded so bad. And that was a problem. I mean, it happened constantly, and it was really driving us nuts. On top of that, we can't bump start it with a Recluse. We can. I mean, there's a way to do it. It's a pain. But for the most part, we just have to figure out, you know, what to do to get it to stop from flooding when it lays over. I mean, the only method that we thought is as soon as she gets it down, turn the fuel off, let the excess fuel drain out of the float bowl and the carburetor, and then when she gets it upright, then turn the fuel back on and then kick it. I think that's the answer. But I was just curious if the Electron would not flood as easily or at all. I'm not sure. I don't know the full mechanics behind the Electron, but if anybody wants to chime in, please do. But they make an Electron for, you know, the KX100 sized bikes. So we thought that might be a good option. That or a Smart Carb. I know more about the Electron than the Smart Carb, but either one. We're trying to get it to stop from flooding while she crashes it because it was not a good time. I was frustrated trying to kick that thing. Even I had a hard time. We actually fouled a plug in the process of doing all this. So hopefully that figures it out. You work hard for your channel and stuff, but still, you are very, very lucky to be able to have and switch so many bikes so quickly. So also, yeah, I agree. Thank you, Mike. I ride a lot of my friends' bikes too. So a lot of the bikes you see on the channel sometimes are my friends' bikes, and you know, I buy and sell stuff to make money on the side. So I have a lot of stuff coming and going. Any places to ride close to Akron, Ohio? Not that I know of. I would recommend Wellsville, but that's a gray area. So do some research at your own risk.
Zach in here saying he wants a 2-stroke.
Yeah, Zach for sure. He's itching to get back on the 2-stroke. He came from a 2-stroke, so he's missing that weight.
He needs a newer 2-stroke. Oh, yeah, he doesn't have to worry about fouling plugs.
Yeah, he needs a KTM or anything like it. KTM 100%. Beta, gas, Sherco, any of those things. Tanner, have you considered getting a classic dirt bike that is in good condition for a while? Or in addition to your other bikes? I would like an older XR, for sure. Like an older air-cooled big bike to just have around the farm. That would be cool. Tilly says, when I lay my bike down, mine floods like crazy. Best thing to do is hold the throttle wide open while you kick it, and it'll fire a second or third kick. We tried that too, Tilly. Just something with this carb on the KX, man. We got to get it figured out. Any reason why Alexis never tried a 150F? Seeing how much she liked the TTR, and the new ones have E-Start, and you could get a big board kit to get closer power to the 150RB, would be a great fit. So, actually, we just got a 150F for your sister-in-law, and What are your thoughts on that bike? You rode it for a little bit.
Yeah, I liked it. It would be fine. Like I would enjoy it.
It would be.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I guess I just like power.
Yeah, she likes the power. She likes the lighter weight. I mean, these bikes are featherweights.
I do. That's heavier than my 150 RB or my KX100.
It's a big difference.
And I noticed the 30-pound difference just between those two bikes, so I would probably notice that difference.
Also, suspension-wise, these bikes are just so much more capable, and power-wise, it would be a step backwards. But you have a button, so
yeah.
Ultimately, we decided, we'll get right into this, that the next step up for Alexis will be the KTM 250R Freeride or the Beta Cross Trainer 300. Either of those, why? Just because of the seat height, man. They're 2 or 3 inches shorter than the full-size bikes, and they just don't make something that bridges the gap. It's very frustrating. In the enduro scene, we want to get her an electric start 2-stroke that she can fit on, but they don't make it. And there are a couple 4-stroke options that would be good, but at the end of the day, for the trail riding and the riding that we do, we just want a bigger bore 2-stroke. And those are the only 2 options that we know of. There might be a few others, but for the most part, that KTM 250R Freeride, which they only made for 2 or 3 years, and the Beta Cross Trainer, thankfully they still made. Those are good options.
Said if you tip the KX over with the gas on, that will re-level the fuel in the carb, and it should start with no throttle.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I mean, what's the difference? That's what we did the other day until we started turning the gas on. Off.
Is the 150F better than the TTR 125?
Oh, look what Zach said. The YZ's leaving tomorrow. That's awesome.
Is the 150F? Yes, I would say it's better than the TTR 125.
Not even comparable.
Yeah, the TTR 125 is literally a play bike. Like
they make an L though, which is bigger.
Yeah. Okay. It's just for the size that it is, and it's just way more geared for kids. Like it doesn't have a whole bunch of power. It's very mellow. It's I mean, it's a fun bike, 100%. But it's
a play bike.
Yeah, it is a play bike. Like I would just struggle way more doing technical things with that bike than any other bike.
The 150F is almost a full-size bike.
Yeah.
It's a big bike.
It's a big bike. It is a big bike.
Like you even almost tippy-toe on that.
Yeah.
You do tippy-toe on that.
Are any of your 2-strokes electric start?
Yes, Ryan Perry. The KTM that I have is electric start. And a lot of the newer electric start Enduros that are out there are amazing. So, yes, I have the button.
Do you have a job? Or do you do YouTube?
YouTube full-time. And I have a couple part-time jobs.
Let's see. Oh, man. What's up, Speedy J?
Speedy J.
Shout out to Jason.
Jason, what's up, man?
Thoughts on a 2019 Honda 250L?
Good bikes. Good bikes. I like them. I can recommend them. Beginner dual sport, fantastic machine, reliable. We had an issue with one, but, that was a dime a dozen.
So back to the Steg pegs.
Yeah, Steg pegs.
So Cody Joseph said that he has a set, but he hasn't installed them. A lot of guys swear by them. They'd be a pain on my KTM because they'd have to come off every time I service the air filter. When we Googled it, I noticed it says Epic Bling or Tools of Satan is like the first video that pops up. So I wonder if there's like a big discrepancy on whether or not they're helpful or hurtful.
Okay, so I have seen these. Kyle Brotherson on the Dirt Bike channel, shout out to him. I saw these on his bike, and he's done a review on it. So if you want some knowledge on that, go over to his channel. But they look interesting. I guess it just keeps that little peg right there, little rubber disc, keeps your legs locked in, I guess, so it reduces fatigue. I don't know about all that. I don't know. I don't know if I would like that. Same thing. Just it goes behind your leg.
Behind, okay.
I don't know if that would... I can see it locking in, but I just want the mobility. Really. I feel like that decreases mobility if you're wanting to shift different ways on the... I don't know. I'm not about that. I don't think it's necessary.
It'd be something you'd have to try, like, before you'd, like, want to, like, buy them and use, like, on their... I don't know.
Where's the epic Honda Groms? I miss you guys riding those mini tanks. We were talking about that today.
We need to get them out.
We need to get them out. I'm going to take mine back to dirt. I'll do a couple videos with the street setup, but I just like mine as a dirt bike.
Me too.
A little mini dual sport. So it'll go back to dirt, and I have some big plans for that. So we'll see if the finances align and the interest is there. We will do a pretty crazy swap with my Grom. I really want to do the CRF 110 frame swap. That'll be awesome.
Grammatron said, "Who even services the air filter?"
Definitely not Grammatron.
What's up, Mason?
Hey, what's up, Mace?
I got a 2018 KTM 125.
Hey, KTM gang. I have a TTR 125 LE and I want to upgrade, so maybe I will buy a 150F.
That'd be a good upgrade.
Good step up.
Yeah.
Do you still have your KX250? Yeah, it's still here. I'm looking at it right now.
And it needs to go.
Yeah, it's going to go soon, but I'll do a couple videos on it before it leaves.
Speedy J bought a KLX 230.
Woo! Good bike.
Sweet.
Awesome.
We talked about that for me, too, when we were just about to sell my 230.
Yeah. Did we?
Yeah, we talked about that for like a quick second.
Quick second. It was quick. It was gone. Thoughts on the 2021 KTM 300? Yeah, I have a few thoughts. Not much has changed. They kind of hyped up nothing, which I don't blame them. But very similar. Just talking about the TPI, which is pretty much the only thing new with those bikes. I'm not opposed to it. I would like one in the future. You know, the oil injection is a game changer, and they mostly did that to keep them legal overseas. But I'm not opposed to it. Replace an oil pump every 100 hours. Not have to worry about mixing gas. Just put oil in the tank, and you know you get at least 3 tanks. You know, just regular gas. You can run through it. I'm not opposed. In the future, I will definitely own one. So not much to talk about.
Family ground ride. I think we should do that. We should ride to dinner soon.
Definitely. Yeah,
that'd be a good video.
That's awesome that you remember that stuff. So yeah, we'll do that. Ask Travis Pastrami if he wants to sell the Beta.
He was actually just over here with the Beta.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes ago.
I actually really like that bike. I really do.
Yeah, you rode it more than he did today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll ask him. I don't know if he'd be interested, but hey, everything's got a price tag. So, do you recommend a CRF 150 RB?
Depends on your skill level and what you're looking for, but yeah, I love the bike.
They're good bikes. Hard to kick sometimes. Once you get the technique down.
You're pretty shocked at my kicking skills today.
Dude, but there's been other times, man.
Yes, there has been.
It's all in the technique and a little bit of luck sometimes. But riding skills and back to the riding stuff.
You said the KX100 needs a pipe.
Yeah, I mean we could definitely get a woods-oriented pipe, get some more bottom end out of it, definitely, and a flywheel. If we're gonna keep this bike, we'll definitely do those things over time and maybe go back to the stock clutch. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll see what happens. The biggest thing is we got to figure out that flooding issue because I want her to try things and I don't want her to get frustrated when she can't start her bike after trying things because that's not going to be motivating for her to try things and crash because she can't get her bike started. So we'll figure it out. We'll do what we have to do and move on from that. But so we started off way at the beginning. Like I said, I remember learning how to ride. The KX65 was the first clutch and my dad just walked me through it. And it was good from there. There's a bunch of videos on learning how to clutch. I don't know how much we want to go through, but the clutch, you know, basically the engagement point on the clutch, have it in first. You can pretty much, in most bikes, let the clutch completely out without giving it gas. And if you let it out slow enough, the bike will start to go. And when the bike starts to go, that's the engagement point. So you'll feel where the engagement point is. A lot of people, when they start out, man, they're just like inching the clutch out just a little bit at a time, but it's not even going to go to that last little bit. And that engagement point is so small. But once you learn that engagement point, just time it right, give it a little bit of gas, go. And from there, the biggest thing is seat time, riding time. That's what she just doesn't understand. Like, she expects herself to be so much better than she is already. And she's ridden not even a tiny little ass hair of a fraction as how much that I've ridden over my life. And it's not even just little stuff. Just hopping on a bike and riding around the yard. You're gaining valuable skills that you need and getting comfortable with your machine. And it's good to stick with the machine too. I'm bad about doing that. She's bad about doing that. Sticking with one bike and getting comfortable with that bike because all bikes are different really helps. He wants to sell it, but
Pastrami said everything's for sale for the right price.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's
for
sale for the right price.
I think he wants to sell it if he has something else lined up.
Yeah.
Like, then he would be without a bike.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll ask him for sure. That clutch is made for racing. I don't know about that. Hey, Brian Perry, check out the BBR board kit for the TTR. You Americans have some awesome riding over there. I'd like to come one day. Hey, let me know when. Hey, what's up, man? I race a GNC, own a quad, and with 20 grand in it. Woo! Damn, that's nuts.
Diesel's good. He's sleeping.
Yeah, he's slumped from the day. A lot of action this weekend. What else? Riding. So as you grow as a rider, you can start like moving up and trying different things. So the biggest thing is to not set yourself up for failure. And what I mean by that is when you're going to try an obstacle, think about it just for a little bit and think about the risk versus reward, and just don't try things that are way out of your comfort zone. Just work your way up the ranks. You don't want to go sending it up hill climbs that you can't make it up, that you can get hurt on. So just finding a balance and not pushing yourself too hard, but you want to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because you will never grow if you're just doing the same things over and over and not trying new things. You're not going to grow. So as you progress as a rider, me recently, I'm just getting into this whole enduro thing. I'm pushing myself every time I go out riding to learn something new, to try something that I'm not comfortable with, and to experience things, learn what the bike's doing, and just think about stuff. A lot of times, man, I just ride and I don't think about or analyze what's going on. But the biggest thing is just the ride time. What's up?
If Pastrami could find a KTM 250 or 300, he would sell the Beta.
Yeah, there you go. He wants the 250 or 300 KTM. He got a taste of that counterbalancer. But honestly, any of the new counterbalance bikes are good. Sherco finally did it. The 2021 Sherco is counterbalanced. The new Betas are counterbalanced. And that's a big difference. It really is. So if you have hand issues, you might want to look into a counterbalanced bike, because it really does reduce the vibes.
I like that. Learn to ride slow standing up. I need to work on that.
Yeah,
I definitely need to like just be out here in the yard slowly, like standing up.
What I said, you need to set up a figure eight.
I do.
And just keep
100%.
doing it back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Learn to ride slow standing up. You should compare the KX250 to the KTM on the trails.
Not really comparable.
Oh my god, yeah. There's not much of a comparison. One is a high-strung race bike that you have to be in the power band that will vibrate your hands off, and is just the clutch is freaking like lifting a cinder block every time you have to pull it in, compared to the hydro clutch on the KTM. It would be a good video, I'm not gonna lie.
Look
but
at this question.
I don't know.
KDX Rider is reading our minds tonight.
Oh yeah, he's on the same parallel universe as us. Have you thought about trying different tube systems, like tubeless or moose? As of right now, I don't really need to. We don't do a lot of rocky stuff, so I'm not having to air my tires down super low. I usually, dude, I've been running like less than 8 PSI in my front and rear, and I've gotten lucky, so might be some heavy duty tubes in there. I haven't cracked them open yet. Tubeless wise, I really want to try it. I'm going to get my hands on a rear. At least we'll start with the rear, and we'll see if we can get it aired up, and I'll give you my opinions. I think I'm going to love it. So the only downside about that is you constantly have to be refilling the high pressure chamber, because it'll leak down just like bicycle tires. Like, it'll leak down within a day or two, so you have to fill them up before every ride for the most part. Just kind of another added thing, but you should be checking your tire pressure before every ride anyways. The benefit of that is you can run super low tire pressure and not have to worry about popping tubes or pinching tubes. And you can plug tires, which is a game changer on the trails. If you carry a little hand pump with you, if you have tubeless in a hand pump, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get strained up with a flat. So that's a nice thing. But tubes are basic. Once you learn how to change them, they're easy, tried and true, and there's a reason why they still come in all of these bikes.
So
in the future, maybe they'll go tubeless all the way around. I don't know.
Have you two ever
rode to the dunes and or ever plan on taking a trip to some? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to riding the sand dunes. I mean, a lot of preparation has to be involved. Like, we have to set our bikes up to ride the sand dunes, and socks for our air filters and paddle tires and stuff like that. So most likely we would rent bikes if we ever did a trip like that. But no real interest into it. Definitely something you have to knock off the bucket list, and who knows, maybe I'll love it and want to do a trip every year. I don't know, but it's not really at the top.
Zach said he hears those dings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's go back up here. What exactly is counterbalancing?
Counterbalancing, the only way I can describe it is like a weight on the crankshaft that moves in the opposite direction, and it just reduces the vibration side to side, up and down. And it's actually a gear that's attached, or not attached, but onto the crank.
Static balance training. I want to do that too.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. I try now and then on the trails, like when we come to a stop, and I get lucky sometimes, but definitely something we need to work on.
The auto clutch is for people who don't ride enough to master the clutch.
Yes and no. I mean, I know professionals that run it, just don't rely on it, because at the end of the day, you can still use the clutch with the auto clutch.
Yeah, you can master the clutch with an auto clutch, but to an extent.
Yeah,
To an
I
extent.
agree in some ways and disagree in other ways.
Does your KTM vibrate a lot? I wouldn't like that on a bike, but my quad vibrates a lot
No, my KTM is smooth as butter.
because of the
Yeah,
counterbalancing.
it is the smoothest bike that, for the most part, I've ridden.
Tanner, after watching you do many hill climbs, I learned that if you know you're not going to make it,
Turn and head back down.
the way I used to do is just go till I stop and drop the bike.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good about that. Like, if you're not going to make it, you just go off and then I would just drop it.
The biggest thing is analyzing the hill. Like, while I'm going up, like, if I know I'm not going to make it, do a quick couple glances. Oh, I can dart over that way. Worst comes to worst, drop the bike, get away from it, and try to drop the bike sideways so then you can get the front pointed down. Because if you drop your bike and the front end is pointed straight up, you're going to have to struggle to drag that front end all the way around. And the biggest thing, that's going to wear yourself out. You don't want to be wearing yourself out. So anything you can do, like I'm on her all the time about this. We'll come to a stop, dude, and she's off the bike pushing it to find a tree to lean it up against to take a break. Like, she's just constantly wearing herself out. Just you got to think about those things. Like when you're coming to a stop and you don't have a kickstand, oh, stop by the tree. Or when you're on a hill climb, oh, point your, crash sideways, or maybe turn around and ride it down. Once you know you don't have enough speed, once you get good enough to know you're not going to make it, turn around, go back down. But that's a good observation, Downey. That was good. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I used to race GNCC on a KTM 450 and low throttle and learn how to stand up and teach her in the yard and use the throttle more than anything. Yeah, we're going to set up a course here with some technical stuff and just, multiple days a week. We're just going to have to spend days practicing because she's never, no, she will get better, but the more you ride, the better you get.
You're right.
The more
100%.
you ride, the better you get.
100%.
We just have to ride more. Do you plan on taking a trip to Rush Off-Road in Kentucky? Yes. 3 hours from Columbus is not far at all. So we'll definitely do some traveling here soon and do some riding. Just got a mint 2013 YZ250F. You're part of why I wanted to get a dirt bike. Thank you. Love the vids. Hey, Lance, that's awesome to hear. I'm glad you got a bike and enjoy it. That is fuel injected, maybe? I don't know. But awesome bike nonetheless. You can't go wrong with Yamaha.
Cody said I switched to...
He switched to Moose's recently. I have tubeless set you can test out if you want to try before you buy. Hey, Cody, dude, I'd be down for that. And I like Moose's, but I like to change my tire myself. So I guess once you get it down, it wouldn't be that big a deal. And they last, a decently long time. I'm not opposed to the Moose, but, dude, yeah, I'd love to try the tubeless out for sure. Your way is much better with the hill climb. Yeah, absolutely. That's just from experience, too. It's just, I would rather wear myself out riding than fumbling with bikes. And I've learned that the biggest thing that helped me was the 250L and the 450L and the weight of those bigger bikes. Like, the last thing I want to do is wrestle one of those things. So I am conscious about where I if I have to crash or if I'm failing something, I am completely aware that I have to bail the right way. What's my dream trail bike? As of right now, I would take one of the 2021 KTM 300 XCW. I do like the 250 though. That would be hard, but since I already have the 250, maybe in the future my next upgrade will be a 300 because I would like to have two bikes, of similar bikes, just to have backup because I'm constantly riding. So the less downtime I have, like if something, it's bound to happen eventually. Something's going to happen to the bike. I want to have another bike to ride in the meantime, and having something similar like that would make sense. So maybe in the future, after I sell some things off and as we grow on the channel, I can get another bike. Just stumbled on my words, but it led me to my next topic. I would like to do something like Kyle does, where ride bikes for a while. Once I have a shop set up with different things, different dirt bike items, merchandise, stuff like that. After I review a bike, I would like to do bike giveaways. So there's a whole list of stuff that's gonna happen in the future. We just have to work our way up to it. And holy crap! As always, Jemmy Drift showing love. What's up, man? Better late than never. You'll have to go back and watch this one. It was a good one. Thank you for the support, man. What can we use that $5.99 for? Ethanol-free gas. How about that? That'll get us a tank. And shout out to Tilly, man. I'm looking forward to that gas tank. He's got one of those fancy gas tanks for me, so that'll be nice, man. Because I'll have to start going and getting multiple 5-gallon cans full of ethanol gas because I get tired of having to stop on the way down every trip. So, yo, what's up, Jacob Boone? What's going on? I hope you all had a great weekend. And Lex told me, and I saw earlier, that you have some time to ride. So we're going to have to see what's going on with our schedule. But regardless, we're linking up at some point. We're doing some dirt riding. Let's make it happen and do some videos, man. I enjoyed your trail series. It was very nice, and I'm glad you had fun. Year before EFI. Yeah, my 2018 is the last for the carbs, the Mikuni carb. Thankfully, is tuned right. I would rather a key hin, but we are ready to roll. My bike's tuned good. Like I said, we might try out the Electron with Alexa's KX100 because we have to figure out the flooding issue. It's not good. It's not looking good right now. She has to be trying.
It's tiring.
Dude, Alexa's always been yawning in the streams.
I am.
You guys
really tired.
must be boring her or something
It's
in the comment
not.
section or something.
It's not.
I don't know what the hell's going on. Always yawning in the streams.
I'm sorry.
Family first, man, but hit me up for sure. Yeah, absolutely. That time of year is definitely a big family thing for us, but we'll figure it out, dude. Absolutely. Awesome, man. Love the channel. Excited to see it grow even more. I bought my 250L after watching all your vids. Keep it up. Hey, man, I appreciate that a lot. I hope you enjoy your 250L. Jacob Boone's dropping a lot of 250L content right now. If you're into that, check him out. Chromatron, I got to go watch his video. Check it out as well. Trail Ride at Wayne. I'm out. Have a great night. And don't forget to check out my new vid. Yeah, I just said that before I read the comment. Love you too, man. Happy Father's Day. You just had to bring up Kyle's giveaway. I still haven't gotten over how close.
Oh, my God, Cody.
Oh, dude, yeah. So shout out to Cody Joseph. He's in the comment section right now. He was actually a top 10 contestant for Kyle Brotherson's Dirt Bike Channel giveaway.
That was nuts. We heard Ohio and we were like, oh my God.
Dude, then I typed in your name. I was like, dude, I'm friends with this guy on Facebook. It was nuts. So he was a top 10 finalist and he could have won a bike, but the wrong balloon was popped and he got $100. Shout out to Kyle. That's pretty cool. Regardless, but man, he could have got a bike. Shout out to both of them.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Kyle. I always forget his name is Kyle because I just know him as Dirt Bike Channel guy.
Could have got a bike. Elkie. There's plenty of trail noises coming soon. There's always some kind of noise coming from her mic. Have you considered doing some bike builds? That's what winter's for sure. Winter is for traveling and bike builds, but for now, I got too much stuff going on. I got a farm to take care of, this place to take care of, in these videos, and riding trails. The only thing I want to do is ride trails. We bore her? Dude, apparently. What's up with the yawns?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. Did you actually start riding at 3? Yes, I actually did. A lot of people were like, dude, what the heck? But PW50, little Yamaha PW50. It's an automatic 2-cycle dirt bike.
You had training wheels on it.
Started out on training wheels. Probably at the age 4, I took the training wheels off and was riding the PW50 until it was too slow and too small for me. And then I upgraded to an LEM50, which was another automatic 2-cycle. I think that was an Austrian or Italian brand, but then I ended up on a KX65. I don't know. That was probably age 6 maybe on the KX6, 7, somewhere in there. Then I got the KX65 and boom. Yeah, blew up from there and stopped riding in high school for a while. A few years after high school, fully invested in riding, and it's back in my life. And I'll never look back. $100 is better than nothing. I still would have been happy with that. Absolutely. But, dude, you're so close to buying a bike. I understand that it's a big letdown, man. But it's all good. There'll be another one. Tanner, your hair is getting long. Time for another cut. Dude, I liked the bald life. I really did. We'll see what happens. I'm not opposed to it, though. I live in Lexington and want to show y'all my TRX 450R. Hey, show it to me. But yeah, so this whole stream is dedicated to beginner riders. We know a lot of beginner riders. Mm-hmm. We are beginner riders. I mean, for me with the hardcore stuff, and for her just riding in general. So we're all about helping people out and getting people on dirt bikes. So dirt bikes are a lot of fun. I like it way more than riding other motorcycles, street motorcycles. Something about riding in the dirt, you're way more connected with what you're doing, and you have to focus on the task at hand and being out in the woods too, and being out in nature. That's what I love. So incorporating all that, being able to travel these long distances that you wouldn't be able to on foot, it's awesome. Dirt bikes for the win. Mm-hmm. I was guessing a PW, yeah. But we're about an hour into this, so if anybody has some comments you want to start dropping in here, let us know. Any questions, comments, concerns, beginner rider stuff, expert rider stuff, anything you want me to answer. My poor CR125 is all apart. Can't wait to get it together. Yeah, dude, I love older CRs, man. Have you tried opening the throttle fully and kicking it over when flooded? I mean, usually when you start it, you're giving it a little bit of gas, but not fully. Not fully. We'll give it a try. I'm just so worried about fouling plugs, too, especially when we only got like one with us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, every Elkie yawn making you donate.
Oh, man.
Please yawn. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say I don't want to yawn. I know. I don't want to yawn.
Oh, wow, man. Cody,
that's awesome.
Thank you for the support, dude. Really appreciate that. Awesome to have the local guys on our side, so we'll do some riding for sure, man. Definitely. We could have rode last weekend, so one of these weekends we'll get together, ride at Wayne or something. Appreciate the support, man. I bet Kyle makes a boatload on those giveaways. He had tons of advertising this time. Yeah, the dude's a really generous dude. I mean, he deserves it. At the end of the day, at least you're getting a product for your entries, a valuable product. I bought the bike pump off of him, and I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
We used it the other day.
We did.
Worth the investment, and we got a chance to win something. So the way he's doing it is the way everybody should do it. So shout out to Kyle for doing it right, because a lot of those giveaways I'm skeptical with, but we got proof right here in the comments, man. One of the local guys, Cody Joseph, he almost won a bike. So that right there proves it was legit, 100%. You do have to pay the tax on the bike, but come on, we're talking about $1,000 at the max. It's totally worth it. Awesome. What's your mix ratio you run? Amsoil Dominator 50-1. That's what the Amsoil Dominator recommends. So that oil was made to be ran at 50-1. Doesn't matter what you run in your bikes before. If you're running that oil, it is recommended at 50-1. And there's Amsoil that you can run up to 100-1, which I would never do. But the Dominator, man. Shout out to Project Farm. He has a whole video on that versus cheap 2-cycle oil.
Yeah,
and the difference is crazy. I will never switch. For a while, at least. Dominator is what I'm running. Shout out to Amsoil. Favorite part of the garage build? Any changes planned? Dude, KDX Rider, man. Shout out to you.
I know, he's been in here with good questions.
Favorite part of the garage build? My favorite part definitely is the garage door. Gets used every day. Beyond that, the desk. I like having the desk. It's just become a clutter point. But we're getting organized. And yeah, I love everything about it. The biggest thing is having the garage door, because before we would wheel everything in and out of the door, a single door, and it was a pain. So having that garage door, I take advantage of it and use it as much as I can. Would you recommend a cheap Chinese dual sport like the Bras for a beginner, or save for a CRF or something similar? That's a hard one. I mean, the Bras is a cheap investment that you can beat on and have fun. So I would honestly recommend the Bras, but if you plan on keeping it for a long time and doing hardcore stuff, maybe save for a CRF. Love the channel. Wish you guys were in Oklahoma so we could ride. We'll make it out there someday. KTM 525, KDX 200, KX 100. Awesome lineup. Ryan, shout out to you.
Yeah,
Thank you for the support. It means the world. Glad to have you on the team. Awesome bike lineup, and we got a couple of those bikes. Couple of them.
Sure do.
Couple of them. Stay tuned. Got some bike reveals. Got some other crazy stuff going on. More trail riding.
Somebody asked if we still have the 150RB.
The 150RB is still here. We're looking at it today.
Right now.
Rode it today. It'll be gone soon. So
yeah.
That's another thing. If anybody wants to buy the CRF 150RB, drop it down in the comments.
We've had some people back out, so.
Email me, atdfct@gmail. Message me on any social medias. The 150RB is going up for sale. Selling it for a good price. Fully set up for trail riding. Let us know. Do you mix your gas before putting it in the bike? Yeah. It gets mixed before I put it in the bike because I can actually see it. But there's nothing wrong with mixing it in the bike. We just usually mix one of the 5 gallons up before we ride at the beginning of the day. And we use a lot of it, usually.
Yeah.
Hawk 250 has EFI. Yeah, that's awesome. I really think that's cool. They're innovating and keeping that stuff going. For a lot of people, that's a good option. But yeah, guys, thank you for all the support. Everybody in here, we love you guys. And plans for the Supermoto 250L this winter at the very latest. Hopefully this summer we'll get it done. Sad to see it go. Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
Wheeling, dealing, trying new bikes, finding what we like.
I'm sad to see it go too, but can't ride both at the same time. So.
Do you two run into or know many couples that ride together? My girl and I are always looking for other couples to ride with, but no luck. Not a whole lot.
No, there's not many girls
in general.
Yeah.
On the trails is few and far between. That's what's so great about this channel. Always something new. You guys are riding. Yeah, I like to keep it fresh and keep bringing new content. I think it would get boring if we had the same bikes all the time. There's only so much things you can do. Hey, man, what's up, Jimmy? When's the stickers and shirts coming? Your logo. Jimmy, hit me with a DM, and I will get you sent out some stuff, bud, because, you know, you've been a long-time supporter.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I have some leftover stickers and stuff. I'll send some out to you. But very soon, like after these daily uploads are done, we got a month left. It'll be back to the 3-day-a-week schedule, which will give me a lot more time to invest in other things as merch, this, that, the other. Better production quality for the videos. So that's the plan. Very soon, but yeah, I'll hook you up with some stickers for sure. Have a great week, Justin. Thank you. Easy rider, man. It's all good. Editing a vid, that's good. Keep productive and keep pushing, man. Thank you for the support. Did that guy ever buy the KDX? Or was that just talk? Tilly bought the KDX.
Yep, Tilly did.
Yeah, he's got videos on it. Check it out.
Ryan said, I'm getting ready to buy another bike. Been out of riding for 10 years. My last bike was a KDX 200. Looking for a KTM 200S seems to be highly prized, so I'll probably get a 250 or 300.
Awesome, dude.
Also, he's from Ohio as well, Dayton area.
That's close to Wayne. Let's do it, man. Let's ride. We'll see you down there. That's going to do it. I'm hungry. She's tired. She's about to fall asleep.
I'm tired. I don't know why.
And until tomorrow's video, we appreciate all you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
Later, Downey. Yeah, for sure. Definitely, that logo will be on some shirts and stuff. Hey, what's up to the UK? Later, guys.
Bye.